All right, guys, back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about percent proportions. And there's a lot of different ways that you can solve these kinds of problems. I like to make things simple, so I use a universal formula, is over of equals percent over 100, and this can be used in any kind of percent equation problem. So let's go ahead and do some examples together as a refresher from our lesson for today. The first problem is 73 is 20% of what number? And remember, what I like to do is set up the proportion first, because you're always going to have a line equals a line over 100, or fraction bar equals fraction bar over 100. The first thing I like to identify is my variable, because sometimes that can be the hardest thing to figure out. So I like to do it first. The word what is your clue. The word what represents your variable. And so I'm going to use context clues to decipher where my x goes in my proportion. If you look, I've got the word of and the word number next to what, which represents the variable. And if you look at the formula, the word of is part of the percent equation. So if I go back down here, I know that my variable is going to go in the of location, because it says of what number. So I'm going to go ahead and put my variable right down here. And then I can decide where 73 and 20% goes. I know that my percentage always goes above 100. So I'm going to put 20 there. 73 is, so 73 goes in the is location. Now from here, this is just a regular proportion. So we're going to cross multiply. So 73 times 100, which is 7,300. And then we always divide by the number diagonal from the variable. So 7,300 divided by 20 is 365. So x equals 365. You don't necessarily have to have x as a part of your answer, but I want you guys to put x equals because it's a good habit to get into when you start dealing with more complicated problems and you're looking for the values of different variables in one equation. It's just a good habit to get into. All right, let's do one more example, and we're going to do 25 is what percent of 365? So once again, I want to set up my proportion. So fraction bar equals fraction bar over 100. Look for the word what, because that's going to tell you where your variable goes. Now, this problem has two words from my formula, is and percent. But if you notice, there is no percent sign in this problem. When you see a percent sign missing from a problem, that is your clue to put your variable above 100, because there's no number to go with percent. Now I can decide where 25 and 365 go. The word is next to 25. So 25 goes in the numerator position on the left side. Of 365, So 365 goes in the denominator on the left side. And at this point, you just cross multiply. So 25 times 100 is 2,500, or some of you might say 2,500. Then you divide that number by 365 because it's diagonal from the variable. So 2,500 divided by 365 is 6.84. So 6.84 is what we got. But remember, I told you all to make sure that you round to the nearest tenth. So x would actually equal 6.8 because the 4 tells the 8 to stay. All right, that is our video for today. Remember, review it, pause it, rewind it, whatever you need to do to help understand this concept. We'll see you tomorrow.